This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? Hashtag sexy. He's here.
Welcome to the Barbados Today Evening Update for Tuesday, April 14th. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. We begin with news from the economic front. The tourism sector continues to drive economic growth in the country. In his first review of the year, Central Bank Governor Dr. Delisle Worrell said the industry expanded by 4% in the first 3 months, resulting in an estimated growth of almost 1%. He says continued activity in the bread and butter industry and the private sector will see the island posting nearly 2% growth for 2015.
Economic activity is forecast to expand between 1.5 and 2% during the remainder of 2015, principally on the strength of tourism activity and further private sector investment of approximately $700 million. Underlying factors expected to affect tourism's performance are an increase of 3.8% in seating capacity from the U.S. market during the summer period, the additional hotel room capacity mentioned earlier, and the hosting of the England versus West Indies cricket test match. Low oil and commodity prices should help to keep the rate of inflation low. The emphasis for the short term has to be on increased productivity, and job growth will depend heavily on the spillover from the tourism and construction sectors.
Despite this, he says government's focus must remain on reducing the country's deficit.
The fiscal deficit of 6% of GDP for fiscal year 2015-16, approved by Parliament in March, remains above the levels that can be sustained over time. The immediate objective of reducing the ratio of debt to GDP will be attained only when the deficit falls below the growth rate of GDP.
The Caribbean Association of Security Professionals makes a case for Barbadian police, customs and immigration officers to be equipped with body cameras. The recommendation from chairman of the Barbados-based organization, Oral Reid, during a press conference this morning. Reid, a retired senior officer, believes that the use of such equipment will be a great asset for these agencies and will also help boost their accountability.
Certainly within immigration and within the police department. And this is where we see our remitted, we'll see how we can now bring our private security officers to a level of greater accountability. Because that is really what the camera and the use of that technology is about. All about greater accountability, right? But we believe that before we advocate its use broadly, that those persons who are clearly not as well trained as others should be provided with the mechanism through which they can develop competence. And once that competence is developed, then we can proceed to institute measures such as that with a view of ensuring that a standard of excellence is supported throughout.
A man is currently nursing a gunshot wound to the neck at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital following an incident in St. Thomas this morning. According to police, reports are that the man was working on a house in the area with other men when they responded to a cry for help from a woman around 11 o'clock this morning. The man was later shot in the right side of his neck. Police investigations are ongoing, but they are not releasing the victim's name at this time. In sports, a senior FIFA official is suggesting that the region set up a Caribbean women's team to compete at the World Cup level. Speaking this morning at the opening ceremony of the Women's Football Coaching Course Grassroots program, scheduled over the next 5 days at the gymnasium, FIFA Women's Course instructor Andrea Roadbose said it might seem as a distant objective, but it wasn't really the case.
One of the objectives now should be getting a Caribbean team into the Women's World Cup, because we had the possibility of having 4.5 teams, and the Caribbean was this close to making it. The half ticket was won by Trinidad and Tobago, and yet they lost in the home and away match with Ecuador. And so Ecuador will be going to the World Cup, which is really a shame because Trinidad and Tobago has a long tradition in women's football. I think they deserved it, not to say that Ecuador did not.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
FAS Entertainment presents the Digicel Vintage Reggae Show and Dance, featuring Marcia Griffiths, Bobby Thompson, Fab Five,
I'm the man they call sweet.
Boris Gardner,
I wanna wake up with you.
Leroy Gibbons,
Magic moment.
Shaka Demus and Pliers, Admiral Tibet, plus Biggie Irie and Super Ruben. MC Admiral International, the Digicel Vintage Reggae Show and Dance. Friday, April 24th, Garfield Somers Gymnasium. Showtime, 9 p.m.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
A test of character, a test of focus, a test of will, a test of resilience, a test of courage. Barbados, the test is on. West Indies, England, May 1st at the Mecca. Tickets $30, $40, $50, and $60. It's on.
Barbados is on.
On the regional scene, simply not an option. The words of former Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister Lester Bird on reports of plans to divest regional airline Liat in order to set up a Barbados-based airline. Speaking with Win FM in St. Kitts, Lester Bird gave Prime Minister Gaston Brown his full backing for his stance on the issue, saying his country has invested too much to let such a move go unchallenged.
Any attempt by anybody to try and do that, and this notion of divesting it and taking ATRs and giving them to Barbados and let them form a new company is totally anathema to the whole spirit of what we were trying to achieve and the fact that we took taxpayers' money. We in fact, did not even take landing fees for years under my administration as part of our contribution. It's not a simple question as to who has the majority shares. It is the whole spirit of what we were seeking to do and the investment by the Antigua government when V.C. Bird was there and I was there. So I am a little bit chagrined at this whole attitude of treating it. So I'm in support of my Prime Minister.
And finally, on the international scene, the United States announced plans to remove Cuba from its list of state sponsors of terrorism. The move comes amid a normalization of relations between the U.S. and Cuba. The Caribbean countries' presence on the list is alongside Syria, Iran, and Sudan, and was a sticking point for Cuba during talks to reopen embassies. In a message to Congress, President Barack Obama stated that the Cuban government had not provided any support for international terrorism over the last 6 months and had provided assurances that it will not support acts of international terrorism in the future. And on that note, we come to the end of our Barbados Today evening update, but we'll be back again tomorrow morning. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 online TV, as well as Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports.
This news update is brought to you by...
So, I'm meeting Rico later. Gotta check in with the girls, but first, let me check my usage on the MyLime app. Now, what should I wear? #sexy.